When you work in Google Sheets, have you noticed that as you click in a cell, if you look in the lower right corner of that cell, you'll see a little blue box. Now, officially, I can't really tell that Google gives it a name except little blue box. But if you're coming from Excel, you may be very familiar with the term fill handle. Either way, whether it's a little blue box or a fill handle, that little box can be one of your best friends when you're working in a spreadsheet. Not only does it help you copy formulas, but it helps you copy cell contents, and it will even add in days of the week, months of the year, and some other kind of interesting kinds of data. So today we are going to look at the little blue box or the fill handle. Hi, I'm Terry, one of the Consumer Technology Specialists for Mid-Continent Public Library, and let's see how Sheets handles its little blue box. I have opened a blank worksheet and I've decided that I would like to add the days of the week and the months of the year. So maybe in A3 I will type Sunday and press enter. And then if I go back to Sunday and click on it, in the lower right, here's that little blue box. I can rest my mouse over it, and when I do, I get a skinny plus sign. And then I can simply click and drag down, and I'm just guessing how far I need to go. There it is. And now I have the whole week, the days of the week, without having to do any typing except for the initial entry. Besides that, I could decide that, I don't want to have the whole day here. I'm really trying to save space in my spreadsheet, so I would like to type the days abbreviations instead. Well, again, I can type just the abbreviation for Sunday, and then go back to that cell, find my fill handle or that little blue box, find the skinny plus sign, click and drag down, and there I am with the days of the week abbreviated. And so very little thought on my part because Sheets already knows how to do this. Now I might also decide that I would like to add in the months. So I might start with January. And again, I would need to press enter to kind of set that into the spreadsheet. Then go back to where I've typed January, find that little blue box, rest my mouse on top of it, and click and drag. This time I'm going to drag across. But for either the days of the week or the months in the year, you don't need to worry about whether you need to drag down or across. You can do either one. So in this case, I now have most of the months in the year, if that's what I'd like to do. Now, I might also decide to abbreviate the months. So I could type Jan, except I'd like to have a capital J there. So January, and again, I need to press enter to kind of set that into my spreadsheet. Then I'll go back to that cell, find the little blue box, rest my mouse on top of it, get the skinny plus sign, and click and drag, and now I've added in those months by simply typing in the abbreviation the way I want it to appear, finding the blue dot, and then clicking and dragging to add them into the spreadsheet. Another way I may want to use that little blue box is to use it to help me copy cell contents down or across a worksheet. So let's say that I have a very simple form in mind. I just need a person's name, address, and phone. And so here in A1, I might type name. And then I have some choices. I might try to type in, say, a capital N, and generally Sheets will look above where I have typed, and if there's even close to a match, and in this case the capital N matches the capital N, then it will try to autofill that cell as well. So I could just press enter here and I would have name. So I could go down my column, typing capital N's and pressing enter. Or what I can do, which is really easier, is to select that cell, in this case A2, find that little blue box, rest my mouse over it so I get the skinny plus sign, and then just simply click and drag down, and now I have a copy of that cell. So let's look at that again. I'm also going to finish my form here by typing address. Now remember to press enter and then go back to the cell so that you can get that little blue box. Be sure to get your skinny plus sign, click and drag down, and then let's add one more. For phone, and again, press enter first, go back to that cell, find your fill handle, get your skinny plus sign, and click and drag down. So you can see how this could very easily help you create a form or add the same information in multiple times without doing a lot of extra typing. I've moved back to our first example where we have the days of the week and the months. But it could be that we have some sort of a randomized list instead. Maybe it's a list of bills, but you haven't for some reason alphabetized them. And so what happens sometimes is that you have this kind of random list and you decide to sort it, and then you find you need to get it back to its original order. Well, with a random list, there is no way to do that unless you add in some numbering. So let's add in numbering, but also look at how we can use that blue box. So first of all, I'm going to come up to the A for column A and right click so that I can insert a new column to the left. And then let's say that in A3 I type a 1 and press enter. And then, you know, it almost seems reasonable that if Sheets knows the days of the week, the months of the year, that I should be able to type a 1, and then all I want to do is just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I should be able to go to that blue box, click and drag down, and yeah, no. What it does is it copies the cell contents. We have to give it more information. So let me undo. And this time, let's give Sheets the pattern of the numbers that we want to use. And in this case, it's pretty easy. It's just counting. It's each number in sequential order. To let Sheets finish the list for us, though, we're going to click on the first cell, also select the second cell. So I did a click and drag down. Now, at the bottom of the second cell, you'll find that little blue box. When you hover your mouse on top of it, it becomes the skinny plus sign, and now we can click and drag down, and it adds each sequential number. Well, that's just one pattern, but let's play with some other patterns. So let's go to a clean sheet here, and let me put in, say, today's date, and press enter. And when I see today's date is a Thursday, and maybe I want to have meetings every Thursday for quite a while. So what I can do is say, okay, well, the 6th, so next Thursday would be the 13th, 7 days later. So I'll put 5/13/ and put in the year. Now I've established my pattern. So again, I select both of those cells by clicking and dragging. Find the bottom right of the second cell, which has the little blue box, rest my mouse over it, get the skinny plus sign, and click and drag down. And now I have every Thursday for several months. Well, it could be that instead of wanting to change the day, I want to change the months. Maybe we want to meet on the 3rd, or maybe I have on the 6th, or maybe I have a bill that's always due on the 6th. So again, what I can do is put in today's date, and then what I would want to do is change the month, not the day. So I could put 6/6 and put in the year. So now I've established my pattern of changing the month, and it's each month in sequence here. Select both of those cells, find that little blue box, hover my mouse over that box as well, get the skinny plus sign, and click and drag down. So now I have the 6th of each month for several months. Now it could be that instead of the 6th, what I want to change is the year. So maybe it's an anniversary of some kind. So again, I start with the original entry, whatever that is. In this case, 5/6. And then I would need to type in 5/6/2022 to show that my pattern is that I want the same month and day, but change the year. So I'll select those two cells, find the little blue box, hover my mouse over the box, get the skinny plus sign, and click and drag down. And now I have May 6th for a lot of different years. And so maybe that would be some sort of a reminder spreadsheet of some kind. But don't assume that it's just for dates. I could also type in, I don't know, 5/25, and that's a difference of 20. So I could click and drag over those two. I've established my pattern, click and drag down, and now it gives me those numbers. So establish your pattern within the first two cells, and then simply use that blue box to copy either to the right or down, and you can have a really quick list without a lot of typing and maybe even a lot of mental addition here as you go through and create your spreadsheet. In our next example, we have a spreadsheet where someone has decided to keep track of their pet expenses for a month, and they want to be sure that while their animals are treated well, they also are a little concerned by what they think they might be spending. So let's look at B8, where we could add in the first formula. And I'm just going to type equals sum, which is a function, which basically means we're going to add. And then when you use a function, you also use the left parenthesis to start to show what you're going to add. So in this case, I'm going to click and drag over B4 through B7. I could have also typed in this information, but as we look at our formula, it starts with the B4, it ends with B7, and those are both inclusive, and then the colon means everything in between, so it means add also B5 and B6. Now when you create a function, because it has a left parenthesis, you also want to be very careful to add in a right parenthesis to finish out that statement, and then press enter. So we know that the expenditures for the pets on Monday, at least for the month where they're tracking their expenses, is $57 and some change. Now, to copy this formula across so that we can get the totals for each day, we want to go to that little blue box. We want to rest our mouse on top of it, get the skinny plus sign, and click and drag across. And so now we very easily have a total for each day. And it's so great when you have a formula and you don't have to retype it, or I suppose you could do copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste, but this little blue box helps you very quickly add in the formula. Now, just to check, let me click in D8, and as I look in the formula bar, it tells me that it's going to add D4 through D7, so it has automatically adjusted. If we go to F here in F8 and we look at the formula bar, it's automatically adjusted so that it says F4 through F7. Well, we could also then come up with totals for each week. And again, we're going to use the same kind of formula, so I'm going to say equals sum left paren, and then I'm going to click and drag over B4 through F4 and end that statement with a right parenthesis and press enter. So now I have a total for that week, and all I need to do is again find that little blue box, rest my mouse over it to get a skinny plus sign, and click and drag down. Now again, this has adjusted, so if I click in G6 for example, it has adjusted to the different rows where this particular formula was copied down. And then in G8 we have this grand total of what was spent for the month. So this just really speeds up the process and maybe even accuracy for adding formulas to your spreadsheet. Our last example today is a really nice tip if you have formulas that tend to need to go down a column. And this is a really small example, so it may not have much effect. But if you have, say, 50 items that need to be copied, or maybe even 100 or 1,000, large numbers with large spreadsheets, this can be a wonderful tool. So let me show you. We're going to add column A and column B. So I'm just going to say equals, and it's A1 plus B1. And then I'll press enter to set that into my spreadsheet. Now I'm going to come back up to C1 and find that little blue box. And instead of clicking and dragging, which especially if you have a lot of rows that you're going to try to copy this down through, this is such a nifty little trick. And you simply, as you rest your mouse right there on that blue box, double click, and it goes to the end of where you have information, and as soon as there's a blank cell, it stops trying to do any more copying. Now, if you have a really large spreadsheet, you always want to go through and double check, because there could be the inadvertent blank cell that stops your copying down the complete column, but you can see how that would be so much easier and faster than even trying to do a click and drag with that little blue box. So be sure to remember that when you have a column and you don't have blank cells, and you can just simply double click, that is a wonderful help for you. To learn even more, visit our mymcpl.org/online learning page, where you will find some really great online resources, which include Universal Class, LinkedIn Learning, and Learning Express Library. Tune in each week as we introduce new videos on a variety of tech topics. You can find us at 1 o'clock on Wednesday and Friday and 2 o'clock on Tuesday. Be sure to find us on Facebook at MCPL 360, or if you prefer, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel at MCPLMO, where you can find our MCPL Consumer Technology Resources playlist.